trying to say
I'm
that
saying,
the
I'm saying
building.
that the rock turns into the building. The rock actually keeps going and it turns into the building.
Hold on,
It talks
Neil.
about a flood in the Bible, doesn't it? Are you gonna tell me I'm crazy?
So the seas are the blood of the people that died?
Deserts are pulverized
Hold
cities.
on, everyone quiet, stop. It's not going to be audible if everybody talks through everybody. Right, look, I think he's got a fair point, El Borique, because it's totally unreasonable to suggest that the seas are the tears of dying people. I mean, that's farcical. Look, just let him get on with explaining how buildings turned into rocks. Don't be unreasonable with this nonsense. Give me evidence that this rock used to be a building.
You're afraid. You won't let me talk.
Yeah, I'm terrified. Oh no! If only I could protect myself from the truth of the melted buildings, I'd have a fulfilled life. If only the yogic people had spoken to me like they spoke to you.
If you see a bunch of the pictures that we have, you'll start seeing that this is everywhere. There's half melted.
Okay, next picture, giant cock in rock. You telling me that this is a giant penis? You've said ley lines. And, okay, if you just pick one thing, he's just asking you, what evidence have you got for this energy? And if you say ley lines, okay, do you want to tie that together and provide some evidence for it, is what he's asking.
Well, that's the thing. It's very hard to explain it because the language has been removed and it's hard. Okay, I studied it when I went to the yogic school, but the prana, the different types of ley lines that exist, we have them in our bodies too. And we have power points. We have like higher energy locations, like our heart. It's spiritual. All that type of knowledge has been suppressed and it's been reduced to something that very small, like it's worthless knowledge. But actually that knowledge was the most important knowledge in the ancient world. It governs everything and we're not allowed to know about it. So that's why they call it. That's why they call it ether.
I know about it.
Is the wrong word to describe it. Ether is the wrong word. So that's all I wanted to say. Now, if you want to challenge me on the mountains, look at the pictures and tell me what you think about them. I don't want to argue. I'm trying to teach you something.
You just talked 78 speed vinyl record. You didn't explain one thing.
By the way, Nathan, I put those pictures in Master B.
They're up now. Thank you. If anyone wants to check them out, they're in Master B, as Chocolate says. So feel free to glance your eyes over the melted buildings pictures. They're up on screen for the audience now.
Thanks for listening. That's all I wanted to say. I don't want to argue. I just want to share something. That's all. Do what you want with it.
You don't provide any evidence. You don't provide any evidence. It's just you went to a class, you forgot everything you learned, and now you're just rambling.
Okay, talk us through these pictures. So I've got one that looks like an internal arch in what may be a church or a temple of some kind, and then above it there's an arch in a rock formation. Okay. So
and there's thousands of them. I mean, there's an unlimited supply of evidence on this.
What's it evidencing?
Well, those formations, what they used to be were articulated structures. They looked like rocks, and they're the remains of something that was very advanced and beautiful at one point. And the whole plain was covered with buildings like this.
Okay.
That's what they're hiding.
Okay, stop. On its face, though, you appreciate that what you've just done is made a baseless assertion and drawn a correlation with two images. Is there any evidence to suggest that the top image, which is a rock, you said it looks like a rock? No. It is a rock.
I posted like 10 images. How many are you looking at? 2? I posted like 10.
Okay, my question wasn't in regards to the quantity of images that you sent. I'll try again. You've made a baseless assertion that the rock in one of the images, in an arch shape, above a different picture of what looks like a temple with an arch, man-made, most certainly.
That's one picture.
Yeah, I haven't finished my statement. I haven't finished. Now, is this going to be a response about how many pictures you've sent? I haven't finished. You didn't answer me. You told me about how many pictures you'd sent, so you didn't listen. Now you're interrupting me. Thank you.
Oh, my God. So, it's relevant to what you're saying. What I'm saying is that you're
being asked by 10th for what evidence you have for your now baseless assertion that this rock, not looks like a rock, is a rock with an arch in it, was a building previously. Right. What evidence do you have beyond your baseless assertion that this rock was a building? Go.
Are you finished? Okay, great. That's one example. So the accumulation of evidence is what
I didn't ask you about the accumulation of evidence or other images. I asked you about this image and how you prove this rock was a building.
I'm trying to answer you.
No, you're telling me about the accumulation of other images.
Well, I want to make sure that...
I don't care what you want to make sure. Give me the evidence that this rock was a building. That's what you said.
You would only look...
That was what you claimed. It was a baseless assertion. Now I'm asking you to back your baseless assertion, not babble on about other crap.
Don't yell at me first.
I'll yell at you when you come here and embarrass the rest of us by telling us that rock used to be a building. I will demand that you prove it. It is not a melted building. It's a rock.
I heard you.
Yeah, so why are you telling me melted building then? It's a baseless assertion.
We have thousands of them.
Back to the we've got more evidence. I'm not going to prove how the rock's a building. You're a stupid idiot. If you could only hear yourself, you're telling me a rock is a building. You sound demented.
Yeah, when you start... No, you sound demented.
No, I do not. I am getting frustrated with an abject clown who is telling my audience that this rock used to be a building and that ancient technology's been hidden from us. And if we only had the language which has also been hidden, you could what? Describe how this rock's a building?
If you see enough pictures of them...
If I see more rocks that look like arches, I'll know that they were buildings, will I? No, I will not!
Is this the only way you know?
Yeah, it is. It's the only way to communicate with... When they tell me, as a baseless assertion fallacy, that a rock used to be a building. And when I say, give me some evidence that this obvious rock with an arch in it used to be a man-made arch, and you tell me there's many other pictures like it, like I give a You're an idiot, and you need yelling at.
Address the other ones, then. Address
them? What do you mean address them? They don't prove anything. What's to address besides your baseless assertion that this bloody rock used to be a building? There's nothing to address.
But what about the rest of them?
What about the rest of the rocks that look like buildings? Obviously, that proves this rock used to be a building.
No, what I'm saying...
No, it doesn't. So what, you think that I shouldn't be yelling at you when you back my point? No, it doesn't prove the rock used to be a building.
You yelling doesn't prove anything.
You require
either,
evidence for architecture if you want to make such a claim, right?
It's a fucking demented idiot's claim that has nothing to back it in the form of evidence. Now, the reason I'm losing with you is because it's tiresome. I am sick of being represented in this community by f***s like you. And I will yell at you, you stupid. This rock is not a building, you stupid idiot.
Are you only looking at one picture, or are you looking at...
Yeah, I'm looking at one picture you said represented how this used to be a building.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're only looking at that one picture.
Oh, right, so if I looked at 1,000 more archway rocks, I'd think that they were buildings like you. You think I need 1,000 more of these, do I?
Yeah.
No, I do not. I need you to tell me how you think that's the case.
Look at the other ones that I've...
No, looking at another load of pictures that you've correlated together will not prove to me that this rock was ever a man-made building.
If you can look at the other ones...
I can. I can.
About the other ones.
Yeah, I can, but it doesn't prove this rock was a building.
It doesn't prove it.
No! It's just your baseless assertion. Very irritating and getting you yelled at. You haven't got any evidence, just your stupid baseless assertion then.
More evidence. It's covered up by your yelling. I have more evidence. Hello?
Yeah, you said you've got more evidence and blamed the lack of it on me yelling at you.
I couldn't hear nothing. I was saying hello.
Yeah, that's because you said you got more evidence and then there was a long protracted silence and now I'm pointing that silence out What evidence is there that this archway in a rock used to be a technologically advanced building made by man?
Well, that's it.
You stuttering! Don't call yourself a flat earther. You're an embarrassment to me, you stuttering.
You're afraid.
You don't have any evidence. That's why you're getting yelled at.
You won't let me talk because you're afraid.
I won't let him talk. He's just literally in the last 2 minutes asked me why there's a long protracted silence after stating he's got evidence, but yeah, I won't let you talk.
Well, I thought it was a communication breakdown because you were yelling so much.
Yeah, there's a communication breakdown. I ask you for evidence. You say you've got it. Then there's a long silence.
I thought I had lost the line because it was...
Oh, you thought we should discuss whether there's a communications problem now? When you're being asked for evidence that this stupid rock with an arch in it is actually a technologically melted building from days of yonder.
So when I first started looking at it, and I first...
Don't care. Don't care about what you thought when you looked at it so you could come to your baseless assertion. Give me evidence that this rock used to be a building.
You're afraid. You won't let me talk.
Yeah, I'm terrified. Oh, no. If only I could protect myself from the truth of the melted buildings, I'd have a fulfilled life. If only the yogic people had spoken to me like they spoke to you.
Yeah, when I first started looking at it and I saw 2 pictures, I didn't believe it either. When I kept...
I don't believe it now. I don't need to. I only needed 1.
It's like flat Earth. It takes time to see it. Okay?
Oh, it takes time, does it? It's like an acquired taste. If I stare at this arching rock long enough, I'll believe it's a building, will I?
It takes and so what you see is you...
So it just needs time. Just going to ignore me with your stupid batshit insane assertion that if I look at this long enough, it'll start to resemble a building, and then if enough time passes, I'll think it used to be a technologically advanced yogic nation building.
If you see a bunch of the pictures that we have, you'll start seeing that this is everywhere. There's half melted...
Okay, next picture. Giant cock in rock. You telling me that this is a giant's penis?
Oh, keep going. No, it's got nothing to do with giant...
It's an ancient melted lighthouse.
It looks like a giant cock.
It's an ancient melted lighthouse.
Look at them all. Look at all of them. You're only looking at
I'm looking at another one. It looks like a giant cock.
Okay, great.
That's me.
What's the next
Can
one?
I just ask a question, man? Because you said mountains are melted buildings, right? That's a hell of a claim, right? Now, are you saying that...
Don't scattergun me. Look at the next one. What's the next one?
Scattergun. I'm using your own claim. What are you talking about?
You're jumping. I mean, I was talking to Nathan.
That's the first thing you said. That's the first thing you said, literally, was mountains are melted buildings.
Okay, the next one is buildings that are built into the rock.
Right. That's what. Now you're starting to see more. Keep going. Keep going. You're going to see that all these rocks used to be buildings. Look at them. Keep looking.
So have you ever? Sorry, here we have this place in the near vicinity to England called Wales, a very hilly area, and my folks lived on a farm in Wales. One of the buildings was like this, and I watched it being built into the hill. So what?
You watched it. What they tell us, what the geographers say, is that it was carved out of a solid piece of concrete. Who carves something like that into...
Oh, in the case of me and my folks with a house that's inside a hill, it was builders.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. But
I'm talking about...
Carved?
I'm talking about a building inside a rock like this on screen now. I've experienced that firsthand. I, in fact, did the plans for the building. I did the blueprints. So I designed it to be in a rock. You're asking how people could do it. I drew up plans to do this that's on screen. I have a building coming out the side of a hill. I've designed a building to do that.
That's not what I'm referring to.
Well, that's what's on screen, and I'm saying, you know what? This looks vaguely familiar to what we used to call the pigsty. The pigsty being a building that comes out the side of a hill, where 2/3 of the building isn't seen.
Claim. I heard your claim now.
Right, it's not a claim, that's a fact. It's a building that exists, that I designed, and when built, not by me, by builders, came out of a hill.
I heard you. Now let me respond.
Right.
That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to ancient sites that are all over the plain that they tell us that they carved it into the rock. They carved it out of a rock, and that's not what it is.
There it is.
What
I can see it.
What it is. That's
but
not
there
what
it is.
What it is.
And yet there it is.
What
So,
it is. What it is. You're interrupting me. What it is.
Yeah, because you're saying how amazing. We shouldn't believe them when they say they carved buildings into the rock. Oh, really? I mean, you say this should be hard to believe, but yeah, I've got a photo of it on screen. Why would that be a difficult thing to believe?
But that's what they say to cover up the truth that the whole...
To cover up the truth of what? It's just a building in a rock.
Why would you carve a building into a rock?
Maybe it's nice and warm in a rock. That's why we did it. I mean, that's why I did it. Are you asking me why I specifically did what I can see represented on screen?
We're not talking about what you're doing. I want to...
Oh, right. We're talking about the ancient hidden societies that we can't be alluding to because they couldn't be able to do this.
The rock will slowly
are you trying to say that the building...
that the rock turns into the building. The rock actually keeps going and it turns into the building. So
I see. So the rock became the building. It wasn't that somebody did this. It doesn't look like familiar man-made structures and shapes. It's actually that the building was made and then it became a mountain or rock side. Right, okay.
It was through heat. Through heat. It was destroyed with heat. There was some kind of event that destroyed all this shit.
The thing was made with rock. It was a rock. It was a building first made of rock, and then it melted into just rock.
No, it was made out of concrete. It looked completely perfect. Like it was the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. and now it looks like a mountain. So what you want to do is start looking at
now it looks like a mountain. But it was before it was the mountain. It looks like now it was a building that had melted into this mountain. What was it before it was the building?
Concrete liquefies, and then when you take the heat off the concrete,
did you say there was no mountain before? Did you say that?
And then when you take the heat off,
did you say there was no mountains before?
Hardens back up, and it looks like a rock after you destroy it. Okay, that's what happens. So it was a temple.
Everything was flat, and then people build buildings, and then we get mountains.
It's worse than that. The deserts, the deserts that what we call deserts. You drive through the deserts, you see those plateaus and those arches and all that. Those were cities, okay? And all that pulverized dust, that's pulverized.
Bro, are you delusional, man?
No, I've been studying this for a while. The deserts are
you've been tripping,
cities.
Bro. You've been tripping.
Ancient.
Yeah.
Blame it on drugs. But anyways, deserts are pulverized cities. That's what you don't understand. This is an ancient place. And it's been reset over and over.
Deserts are pulverized cities, and mountains are melted buildings.
Can I please say something?
Yeah, Neil, this was all done for humour. QE made it very clear what would happen if I allowed this to continue. And for kicks and giggles, I did. But it was fun, you know. There's lots of opportunity for over-dramatising things.
Yeah, maybe someone will actually go study it and see what I'm talking about.
See?
Can I ask a question?
No, the guy won't tolerate it. You know, if you try and put a question to him, he won't let you get to the end. And when you try and communicate back and forth with him, he'll just go into verbal diarrhea like a baller would.
Stop projecting.
Like now.
It'll take me 2 seconds.
Right, yeah. So ultraviolet, are the seas the blood of the people that died?
Wow.
Hold on.
It talks about a flood in the Bible, doesn't it? Are you going to tell me I'm crazy?
So the seas are the blood of the people that died?
Are you listen, it talks about a flood in the Bible. So let's make fun of the Bible now. What are you talking about? I never said the seas are the people that died.
Well, I mean, if the deserts are the pulverized
deserts are pulverized cities.
Everyone quiet, stop. It's not going to be audible if everybody talks through everybody. Right. Look, I think he's got a fair point, El Borique, because it's totally unreasonable to suggest that the seas are the tears of dying people. I mean, that's farcical. Look, just let him get on with explaining how buildings turned into rocks. Don't be unreasonable with this nonsense.
All right.